Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to my car, and welcome back to not being indoors recording gameplay videos because British houses as a rule do not have air conditioning. It is 30 degrees outside according to the car, which is about 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It is very, very humid, like incredibly humid. There are a lot of tourists out today. A lot of them will be going home this evening with very, very red arms, I fear. They're also on the road, in the road, parked across the road. So we have to be very careful about that as we are heading in this direction. I'm wondering whether to actually go home myself or just stay in the car. But in the evenings when I'm not doing gameplay stuff, what I am doing is focusing on the channel a little bit on the back end. You may have noticed some of the changes, and they're little subtle changes because, well, YouTube doesn't tell you everything when you start out, and I've been doing it for about 8 years and I still don't know everything. One of the things I have done is change the color of the gameplay video and the vlog videos. So gameplay videos are still the blue sky with orange and red chevrons, orange and yellow chevrons, and the vlogs now have the blue sky with white and grey chevrons, just to denote the difference between a gameplay video and a non-gameplay video. The other thing is, snack time is back. I'll be doing more videos. It'll be infrequent, but certainly they'll exist. And I use the old style of thumbnail for them, just kind of brought it up to spec with the rest of the channel. But yeah, it's the old style of thumbnail. I went back through and corrected all the metadata on them as well. Speaking of metadata, one of the things that YouTube doesn't tell you is you can use hashtags on your video. I mean, yes, you can use metadata, you can use meta tags, and you can add a description, but you can also add hashtags. And I was just like, wait, what? So I was watching a Game Grumps video and they had hashtags underneath their video, and I was just like, wait a second, how do I do that? Is there something you need 1 million subscribers and 22 billion hours watched every femtosecond? And apparently no, anyone can do it. Except I've been doing it a little bit wrong. You see, one of the things that I've been doing is adding a hash or a pound symbol in front of the number, the episode number, because it just kind of denoted the fact that that was the episode number. Unfortunately, YouTube saw that and made it searchable. So all of the videos had their episode number as a searchable element. So for example, Stranded Deep 460, the searchable element was the number 460 because that was the pound symbol or hashtag symbol with the number. So I've been going through taking off that in front of the number and then adding a few hashtags to the actual video itself. Not a lot, you don't need a lot, but the game name, so Stranded Deep, what it is, survival, and also long play, because people come in off the internet and they're just like, ooh, someone's playing Stranded Deep, and I'm like, yes, but this is a long play. You're getting half hour of me talking while playing the game, which is great if you want something to watch while you are falling asleep, while you're heading off to the land of sleep, I guess. Sleep, pushing up Zeds, having a little bit of a honk shoe. Anyway, so yeah, hashtags are now going to be a thing on videos moving forward. Certainly, I've done a few going backwards, but I can't do all of Stranded Deep. There's over 400 videos. It's a lot of work. The other thing that you can also do, apart from changing thumbnails and adding hashtags, is adding chapters to videos. Again, in the video description, if you start off at 0:00 and type intro, and then the next whatever chapter you want, say we biff up a shark at 5 minutes, then you type 5:00 and type in, I don't know, biff up shark, as we play Stranded Deep and we take out a few sharky boys, because that's what you do in the game, but not in real life. Sharks in real life should be left alone to be sharks. That is my personal and professional opinion. But in the video game, they are definitely an enemy. So if you type in 5:00 and then biff up shark, it will add a little gap on the video timeline, or the scrub bar at the bottom of the video, and it will add your intro as text, and then it'll add biff up shark as text. I should also say biffing something up is to give it the old fisticuffs, you know, give it the old 1-2, give it the old jab in the bits that get jabbed. Cool. Yeah, so that's what I've been focusing on, just tidying up stuff on the back end, and it has been interesting to know that stuff exists, but I haven't been using it. So for snack time, adding a few chapters where there's an intro, and then there might be something interesting where we examine a biscuit or we examine a bottle of beer, and then add another chapter just to say, this is the bit, this is the payload, this is the bit that you've come for, to see someone stick something that's out of date in their mouth. So yeah, I've done all of that, and it is good, or it has been good. Whether it draws people to the channel, I don't know. I have no idea. There's a lot of information that you can get from the analytics, the YouTube's back end. It tells you where people have come from, how long they watch for, and there's a few kind of tools. We've got to be a little bit careful here because of all the parked cars. Yeah, but why people come, what they're looking for, whether they're just looking to listen to your voice for half hour, or whether they're looking for something more, is not really covered. That's covered by you guys in the comments, and I do enjoy the comments. I do enjoy looking at the comments and going, you guys have written something. So I tend to leave it until I upload the next video, rather than keep going back to the channel and trying to answer everything as they come in. And sometimes I'm asleep. Some of you guys are in like other countries, like America, will write something at 3 o'clock in the morning over here, and I get a little notification on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave that till much later on. But I do try and answer, or I do try to reply to every comment, as long as there's something replyable to be had. To be honest, I've only had a few comments that have been negative, and honestly, YouTube is very good at dealing with that sort of thing. Gives you a lot of tools to deal with those sort of people. Yeah, I've only had to use that a couple of times, and you just mute people in that instance. So yeah, YouTube's back end, playing around with that, playing around with the thumbnails, playing around with chapters, playing around with hashtags. Will it do anything? I don't know. But then there's a big question, and it usually comes at this time of year because it's summer, and then you do get a sort of a sense of anxiety, and I think it's a holdover from school, as you have September on the horizon, and you're like, do I want to be carrying on making videos? Do I want to continue doing this? And I think the answer is ultimately yes, because otherwise I wouldn't be sat here in my car on a hot summer day talking to you guys. Do I get anything out of it? Yes. I do use it as a learning platform for myself, which is why the videos here are not quite as narcissistic as other YouTubers' videos. I mean, not ragging on anyone, but I do use it as a tool to learn. You may have noticed the last two snack time videos, the one with the biscuits and the one with the beer, they were different. Or you may not have noticed, but I connected the camera directly to the PC using an HDMI to USB adapter, and that allowed me to add a LUT to the video in OBS. So I don't have to edit the video, I can add the LUT directly to it as I'm recording. So I get to see on screen a full screen visage, my visage in full screen. Oh god, that's terrifying. But I get to see me in full screen, so I get to actually position the foods and things. Oh, bum. Kind of beams that up. Couldn't see his indicator past the A pillar. Yeah, so I get to see exactly the proper framing and the proper colors, how everything's going to look as you guys will eventually see it. Then I can drop it into Premiere, add the music, add the intro and outro, add the audio, because the audio is always recorded separately, and just tweak colors if I need to. Usually red. Usually my skin comes out a lot more red than it should be, just because of the way the cameras and sitting in front of a bunch of lighting work. Speaking of a bunch of lighting, I got a few new bits of lighting just for the background in snack time. because when we were doing Dungeons and Dragons, I found it incredibly hard to light a scene. One of the things that I would have is me brightly lit, so I looked like I was standing on the surface of the sun, but the room behind was very dark, and that made for a very noisy image, very red and very noisy image that I had to correct in Premiere. So I dropped the video in Premiere and then I would tweak all the settings. You can probably tell that a lot of tweaking had happened, especially in the first few episodes of Dungeons and Dragons, because the image is quite noisy. If you look at my t-shirt, especially in the first episode, you get a lot of color noise on it. I did correct that later on, as my skill at recording stuff live got a little bit better. But if we go back to it, and I would like to go back to it at some point, if we go back to it, I have a better understanding of how to light the entire room, not just me, for a cleaner image. I think that definitely would be a Twitch thing though, and it's gonna have to be after looking at getting a new place, new property. I really do want to get a house, but I can't afford anything like this. They're too expensive. For a tiny, tiny little building, they're so expensive. And that is sort of also brought into question, do I want to stay in Cornwall? Do I want to carry on doing the job that I'm doing? And I'm like, it doesn't pay. It's a great job, but it just doesn't pay. And I think what I should probably do is dust off the CV, get it up to date, and then look around and see what else is out there. Which I keep looking at it and I'm like, oh, I hate writing about myself. Oh, I can do other people's CVs, but when it comes to my own, it's so tricksy. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that I'd like to do, but they're kind of in limbo at the moment. And one of them is definitely have a look at getting a property of my own, which means I can then set up a proper recording area and not have to light a monstrous Victorian room or Edwardian room. That place is huge and just gobbles light up. Yeah, I don't think there's too much more. As far as games and gameplay goes, we're just kind of treading water there. I'm doing Stranded Deep and I'm doing The Long Dark because those are the things that get the views, or at least the comments as well as the views. I did get another game. I got the latest Jedi game from EA, the one where you have a little robot and he sits on your shoulder and you do stuff. I did have that and I was planning to play that on the channel, but it's a time thing. It genuinely is a time thing. When you're working 5 days a week and you're doing a 9 till 5, I mean, it's a way to make a living, but you're working 9 till 5, you get home after editing literally thousands of images and you say to yourself, oh, I am now mentally exhausted. My body is okay, but my brain is just switched off. Yeah, so I'm just doing what I can as I can. So a few gameplay videos, vlogs, and then snack time just to sort of fill in the gaps. I think that kind of catches us up all the way. If anyone has any suggestions, I would leave them in the comments. I did think, just briefly, about setting up a Discord. If anyone gets to this point in the video, it's a lot of rambling and I don't really know how much talking there's been because I also have to focus on not crashing. But I did think about setting up a Discord. I don't know if that's something that people would want, if that's something that people would use. Obviously, I would set some of you guys up as moderators because you are opening it up to the general internet. And how that is sorted out, organised and run, well, to be honest, it will probably be left mostly up to you guys to figure that out. But if you want that, it's something I can look at doing. I did very, very, very briefly consider starting a Patreon because I know that's something that a lot of people suggest. It's like, do a Patreon, but I don't feel that there are the numbers of subscribers to really I don't want to put pressure on anyone. I never want to put pressure on anyone. I do understand at this point YouTube has said that they will put adverts on the videos, understanding that I don't get paid by YouTube for anything. YouTube does not pay me at all. So any adverts that you do see have not been put on by me and have certainly not been, I don't get any revenue from them. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are getting the adverts because I don't think they show for me being the channel owner. And I just can't tell. I can't tell if that's the thing. I probably won't do Patreon for the reasons. Not enough people, and I don't want to put pressure on anyone. Because I can imagine people would throw a couple of dollars this way a month, but no. I'd rather carry on doing this while I can, like this, and not sort of not have that extra pressure. You can see just talking about it is a little bit dodgy. I don't like it when money is involved, which is, I guess, a very British thing. Speaking of British things, just to sign off, just to wrap this video up, I have been drinking a lot more in this hot weather. And you might say to yourself, but what have you been drinking, old chum? Old chum who is very, very British, as you can tell by my Oxford English accent. Oh, well, I have been drinking Earl Grey. You've been drinking tea. Is it iced tea? No, it is Earl Grey. It is Earl Grey hot with milk. How else would you drink Earl Grey? It is hot tea. You can't have cold tea. That's stupid. And ooh, if you happen to be a Texan watching this, Steve Courtright from the comments. No, you can't heat tea up with the power of the sun. Even on a day like today, you have to use a kettle, and you have to make sure it's hot, and you have to make sure the tea is at least 100 degrees Celsius when you make it. But then you leave it to cool down a bit, and then you have it when it's nice and sort of cool. But yeah, mostly tea. I don't know why, I just can't bring myself to go and get a load of beer or soda because it just seems wrong. It just seems wrong. So we're now in Hale. And that's the supermarket, that's the Hale Viaduct, which trains run over that, and they've just redone the whole of the viaduct. Maybe I could get a job as a choo-choo train driver, although apparently the night shift kind of sucks. Don't know. I think I'm going to leave it there though, so if you like these videos, definitely leave a like, leave a subscribe. If you have comments, leave them down below, and I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.